As the eyes of the entertainment world are on WWE's billion-dollar networking deal, the eyes of us humble wrestling fans are on two massive games of The Floor is Lava this weekend. Hold on, we're going home. This is Raw. This is Raw Graded. Iron Drew opens the show. He's back following his COVID-19 positive test. He is clear to come back. He thanks the fans for the well wishes and dedicates his match at the Royal Rumble to those who are fighting COVID. From here, he talks about how Goldberg was one of his favorite wrestlers growing up, talks about his accomplishments, but before he can really get to what he needs to say, here comes The Miz and John Morrison, comparing Drew and Goldberg to Kong versus Godzilla. They declare that once the match is over, they're going to be battered and bruised and left in the dust, and Miz is going to cash in his money in the bank to become the WWE champion. This brings out the challenger for Sunday, Goldberg. Now, Goldberg marches to the ring, steps into the face of Drew McIntyre, not literally, metaphorically, and says, "You, me, Sunday, you're next." Miz and Morrison start egging on Drew and Goldberg to fight. They respond by bringing them into the ring. We see Goldberg lay out Miz with a spear and Drew lay out Morrison with a claymore. They stare each other down once again and Goldberg takes his leave. This was a strong, simple, effective opening for Monday Night Raw. Paul Heyman was apparently backstage on Raw to help Goldberg putting together a promo. I think he could have maybe made a Zoom call instead. Quite possibly. Our first in-ring action of the night is Charlotte Flair taking on Shayna Baszler. Before the match, Charlie Caruso catches up with Charlotte, asks her about Lacey and Rick's shenanigans once again, with Charlotte Flair saying that it's one thing to have the last name Flair, but it's another to carry it. Could we be getting a wedding angle? This could be where this is going. First time ever match between Baszler and Charlotte. It gets about a minute and a bit. Scrappy affair. Jax tries to get involved and Flair wipes her out, but shortly after this, as Flair goes to put the figure 8 on Shayna Baszler, Jax hits the ring for the disqualification. Here comes Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, Dandy, to make the save. Lacey Evans comes out to attack Charlotte, and this all just descends into, predictably, a 6-woman tag team match that we kick off after the break. Lacey Evans is taunting Charlotte at the start of it, but she's getting a beating from Dandy. Do you know Dandy do cartwheels? Majority of their tandem offense seems to be variations on cartwheels, and we see a couple of them in this match, quite a few against Lacey. When Charlotte gets the tag in, Lacey wants nothing to do with that. She scampers to the corner and tags in Shayna Baszler. We see Baszler and Charlotte fighting out to the outside of the ring. The referee counts very quickly. Charlotte and Shayna roll into the ring, but apparently Shayna didn't make the count. So Charlotte wins by countout. Very obscure finish to the match. We go to break, and when we come back, the match is happening again. Turns out, during the break, Adam Pearce had headed down to the ramp to hear some of the complaining of Jax and Baszler and Lacey, and all parties agreed to restart the match. This was a bit of a botch. It was messy as all heck, but they got the match restarted. Presumably, they had allotted time they needed to fill with this match, so the match carries on. Lacey, Jax, and Shayna Baszler controlling Dana Brooke until she avoids a powerbomb from Jax and makes the tag to Mandy. Mandy Rose running wild in this one for a good amount of time. It breaks down shortly after a pinfall attempt from Mandy. We see Charlotte running Lacey off, and we don't see them again. In the ring, Nia Jax drops Dana with what looked like it was going to be a powerbomb, turned into sort of like a choke slam, and Dana's head bounces off the mat. It looks ugly as all heck. This was followed by a leg drop and a 3. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler getting the win, heading into their tag title rematch at the Royal Rumble. Giving this a C-. This was a messy affair before and after the botch. I'm not buying Dandy as a team. Like, there's something about that energy that I don't think's quite there yet. And Charlotte Flair as a face is something we've talked about quite a bit, and we'll talk about later in the time. And yeah, glad to hear that Nia Jax, that Dana Brooke's all right following Nia Jax's choke bomb type thing. There'll be conversations again about Nia Jax, won't there? There probably are in the comments right now. This wasn't the best start to Raw in ring. Slapjack taking on Xavier Woods now. So Woods has been fighting against Retribution for some weeks, and Mustafa Ali has been cutting some amazing promos where he's been basically calling Kofi Kingston out for all the hardship that he has suffered, saying that Kofi took his spot a few years ago that led to Kofi Mania, and it meant Ali missing out on his. So it's sort of the sins of the father type thing for Woods. He's been getting a beating from Retribution for several weeks. Woods comes out to this one with a real mission. He marches out. No trombone shenanigans here. Straight into the ring. Intensity. Jumping Slapjack off the bell with a drop kick. Really nice springboard bulldog from Slapjack once he gets back into this one. Woods is able to fight back, and just as he's starting to get momentum, we see T-Bar appear on the one side of the ring. Ali obviously starting to man the troops to try and slow down what Woods is doing. This distracts Woods, almost leads to him getting attacked by Slapjack, but he's able to avoid a sneak attack, land a Shining Wizard on Slapjack, and get the 3. Woods has done it, but before Woods can get up the ramp to celebrate, he's attacked by Retribution. Thrown back into the ring, gets a double choke slam by T-Bar and Mace, and looks like Ali is going to waffle him with a steel chair, but instead, he puts the steel chair down, sits on it, grabs the microphone, and gives a message to Woods to give to Kofi Kingston. He's sad that Kofi won't make it to the Royal Rumble, but there is a suitable replacement for him in the Rumble, and that is Mustafa Ali. Nice. I'm giving the match a C+. I thought it was better than the outing they had last week. Neatly progressing storyline. A bit of a brief one here. Really enjoyed Ali on the mic. And I think this has been a nice story to tell. You know, I feel like Retribution is sort of finding its groove a bit. I can forgive the loss to Slapjack because there was some nice, consistent story told here. Riddle and R-Truth are chatting backstage. Truth has heard that the Hurt Business is throwing him a birthday party, and they've bought him 24 gold carats. Oh, R-Truth, you've got the wrong end of the stick again, haven't you? Oh, that's gotta be R-Truth. But there is a VIP lounge segment next. Here come the Hurt Business. Shelton Benjamin had his face mask on and quickly took it off before anybody noticed. Strange one. As they get into the ring, to the VIP lounge, lots to celebrate. They're celebrating the fact that Bad Bunny is going to be playing their song at the Royal Rumble. They're focusing on the task at hand, which is beating Riddle and the Hurt Business, dominating Monday Night Raw further. There's a gauntlet taking place tonight where Riddle will attempt to earn himself a shot at the US Championship. That ain't happening. Shelton Benjamin starts talking. He gets interrupted by Cedric Alexander, and he's the one that says, "Hey, we've got a gift for you." Lashley jumps in and says, "Look, you've looked after us and you've been great to us, so we wanted to get you some gold to drip around you." And they present MVP with a personalized chain that says THB. This brings out R-Truth, apologizing for being late to his surprise birthday party, which Hurt Business know nothing about. R-Truth says, "Well, clearly this is for me. Like, you got me that chain, THB. Truth, happy birthday." That's quite funny, to be fair. They invite Truth to come to the ring. And as he heads to the ring, the 24/7 division jump him. And this leads to some shenanigans outside the ring. The Hurt Business get in there as well. MVP alone in the ring. And here is Riddle from the other side of the ring to hit a final flash and leg it. See you in the gauntlet later on, everybody. Giving this whole segment a B. Cedric playing a blinder in this one as well. Cedric cutting off Shelton Benjamin, then taking the responsibility, the claiming of the gift as well on behalf of the Hurt Business. He's doing some good stuff here. This was just a fun segment. Backstage, R-Truth is now pretending to be a statue next to a baseball player. And he calls over Adam Pearce and says he wants a shot in the Money in the Bank match. Of course he means the Rumble, you silly, silly bean. AJ Styles interrupts, says that he is benevolent and he would like to give Truth a chance to earn his place into the Rumble. R-Truth responds by saying, "Hey, you're benevolent? I'm a Capricorn." Truth, stop making me laugh. Stop it. Stop it. Pearce makes AJ and R-Truth a match for later on tonight. Truth entering the Rumble if he wins the thing. Weird to have this segment immediately after what we had with the Hurt Business business at R-Truth. Like, literally blink and now we're moving on to this, which is a strange one. In the ring, it is Sheamus taking on John Morrison next. John Morrison gets loads in here. He's holding his jaw at the start of the match because of the result of the claymoring he got earlier, but that does not slow him down. Some good Jomo Techers to start this one. Morrison landing some beautiful kicks as Miz is cheering him on outside the ring. Sheamus is trying to push back into this one, but Morrison has not only landed some beautiful kicks, but he's worn down the leg of Sheamus throughout this match as well. Sheamus goes for the Irish Curse backbreaker. Morrison counters it, and then we see an axe handle off the top rope from Sheamus as he tries to push back in, and we see Sheamus, as he comes off top, get hit with a drop kick by John Morrison. And Sheamus just cannot get into this one at all. Morrison continues wearing down on that leg of Sheamus, using some grapevine submissions, nearly getting a tap out there. But Sheamus won't be denied, keeps pushing back, attempts a white noise, doesn't get it, but lands a Uranagi, gets a cloverleaf locked in, but Morrison makes the ropes. He tries to bring the neck down of Sheamus over the ropes to use it as an advantage, but as Morrison slides back into the ring, he gets a big knee to the face, followed by the white noise for the 1, 2, 3. A hard-fought victory for now a very sweaty Sheamus. Miz in the ring says he wants a rematch there and then. Let's do it 2-on-1 style. Miz and Morrison versus Sheamus. And Sheamus has the pride of Ireland on his shoulders. So, of course, he agrees to this. And after the break, it is Sheamus versus Miz and Morrison in a handicap match. Now, Sheamus overwhelmed by both of them. Big kicks that then end up with him just on the ground. He eats a couple of dives from Miz and J-Mo as well. A prolonged beating of Sheamus in this one. Eventually, we see him come back. He hits Miz with a rolling senton onto John Morrison. Gives them both 10 beats, hits a dive outside the ring, and it looks like he's coming back into this. Sheamus sees a springboard from John Morrison, avoids it, hits a bro kick, but as he's doing that, he eats the skull-crushing finale from The Miz for the 3. This was a B+ here. Really, really gutsy showcase of Sheamus. Really good set of matches here between them both. The story being told here that John Morrison and Miz in the Royal Rumble are going to be a dangerous combination because they've really got their heads together on everything. So consequently, if you're in the Rumble and they're in there at the same time, yeah, there's going to be a fight on. And Sheamus really pulled out a great hard-earned fight here. Didn't come out on top victory-wise, but this was really good fun. Charlotte and Ric Flair have a heated conversation after Charlotte walks in on Ric Flair giving Lacey Evans wrestling lessons. You naughty boy. Charlotte and Ric not on the best of terms here. Ric says, just because you're a superstar doesn't mean like there isn't a place for me in the locker room. Charlotte says she's not the bad guy here and says her dad is going from a legend to an old man. As Charlotte leaves the locker room, she gets jumped from behind by Lacey, who hits a woman's right. Rick goes to help her up, but then Lacey pulls him away and starts talking to him about the woo. How'd you do a good woo? And this distracts Rick, and off he goes. This was a good little bit. Still confused by Charlotte being a face. I'm not buying Charlotte Flair as a likable good guy in all of this. It all feels very real. I just don't know whether I like Charlotte for it. R-Truth versus AJ Styles, a match that we had set up earlier on tonight. Styles gets the early aggressive lead on R-Truth in this one. Styles goes to throw Truth out of the ring like he will at the Rumble, but Truth reverses it and sends Styles packing instead. Truth comes face to face with Omos at one point and does what we all have to do, is run away terrified. This leads to AJ Styles turning the tide briefly on R-Truth, but Truth doesn't stay down long. He hits a blue thunder bomb followed by the 5-knuckle shuffle, goes for the FU based on his childhood hero John Cena. However, Styles able to get away from that. He counters the AA, gets the calf crusher on, and gets a tap-out victory over R-Truth. Decent little match, give it a B. A lot of fun matches tonight. A lot of fun, short, tight matches going down tonight. AJ's really had his working boots on over the past couple of weeks in the run to the Rumble, and it's been good seeing him in there with some fresh opponents as well. We get a recap of Randy Orton's War and Peace length promo from last week, and then we cut to Alexa's playground. There's Alexa Bliss on her swing, chatting to the invisible person next to her. Says that she has an opportunity to win a shiny new toy tonight. And she starts singing as the promo ends after she reflects back on some of the damage she's done to Randy Orton and to Asuka. She starts singing Ring a Ring a Rosie, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. And then the Fiend's "let me in" booms through her face. You even see a little reflection of the Fiend as she does as well. Given this promo bit a B+, I really love the stuff that Alexa's been doing. Some of the wacky out there stuff may not be something for the old school fans, but I've really enjoyed a lot of the process they've done. Like the production values on this have been superb, and I like this a lot. Riddle is running the Hurt Business Gauntlet. If he can beat the 3 members of the Hurt Business, then he gets a shot at the 4th one, Lashley, for the United States Championship. So Riddle starts out with Shelton Benjamin. Almost gets a final flash from the off, but Shelton's able to avoid it. He manages to put himself in charge of the match. Some solid ground wrestling from Shelton. Shelton counters a roll-up. However, Cedric Alexander is distracting the referee, so the referee misses the pinfall going down. And in the confusion, we see Riddle get a victory roll onto Shelton, and that gets the 3. Riddle beats Shelton Benjamin. MVP is up next, and before he even gets into the match, his head in the game, he's in the ring, and he's trying to calm down tension between Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. Just continues to bubble outside the ring. This leaves him wide open to Riddle to get him from behind and trap him in a leg lock and get a quick tap-out victory. Riddle beats MVP just like that. When we come back from break, it is down to Cedric Alexander. MVP and Shelton Benjamin are livid outside the ring as Cedric is working over Riddle, and MVP is screaming at Cedric multiple times in this match for not doing proper covers, doing these cocky covers after hitting these big moves. There's a lot of frustration in the Hurt Business camp towards Cedric Alexander. Riddle keeps trying to push into this one, but Cedric has a comeback for almost everything. A beautiful explosive drop kick at one point as well, which is really nice. And a cracker of a brain buster. But again, that arrogant cover doesn't get the 3 count. Alexander jumps off the top rope, but gets caught in a triangle choke. Tries to counter it with a slam, but isn't able to break it. Riddle eventually counters a counter from Cedric into a roll-up, gets the 3. Riddle pins Cedric Alexander, and Riddle is getting himself a title shot at Bobby Lashley. As he heads up the ramp, he's jumped by Bobby Lashley, put in the Hurt Lock, and left on the ground for dead. And Hurt Business are furious. It's been a bad night for the Hurt Business. But this was a great match. I'm giving this an A-, you know. I thought this was an excellent gauntlet. It was well-paced. It was well-delivered. The Cedric and Shelton stuff is both subtle in some of its nuances and overblown where it needs to be. And I love some of the stuff that Cedric Alexander in particular has been doing lately. He's had some standout performances. Great story told. Great wrestling. It's an A-. Nice. We haven't heard from Edge since the greatest wrestling match ever. We hear from him now in a promo filmed inside what looks like a wrestling ring at his home. He says that if 2020 taught us anything, it's that you can't sleep on tomorrow. He talks about how 10 years ago he went to sleep after WrestleMania as the World Heavyweight Champion, and less than a week later, he was forfeiting that belt and giving up his dream. He said that words from his mum when he was getting into wrestling inspired him all these years later to get back into it. And Randy Orton nearly took that away from him. But you cannot live in that space, and you've got to fight. Edge then turns his attention to the Royal Rumble this weekend and says,
"Oh yeah, here we go, sports time. I've watched the Royal Rumble before. And I've also been in a Royal Rumble, so I'm going to give this everything I've got."
Edge declares for the Royal Rumble. He says the stakes are higher than last year because the window is closing, and he'll fight with every fibre in his being to make this far-fetched dream come true. Henry Ford, he quotes here, and says, "If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. I think I can. I'll see you at the Rumble." Whoa! Yes! A for Edge. Edge is phenomenal. Edge, the promo work from Edge, the visits to promo land that Edge goes on are excellent. This was such a solid promo from Edge. Massive love. Good to see Edge back in form, and I'll be excited to see him as part of the Rumble this weekend. Should Edge's return have been a surprise? No, I don't think it should. I think the big surprise of last year's Rumble with Edge can't be topped. I think doing the surprise in the Thunderdome, I feel like it'd lose a bit of energy. If we were still in like a big stadium, yeah, do it again. But I feel like a second surprise return in the Thunderdome wouldn't have that same energy. So I don't mind them announcing it ahead of time. I'm just happy to see Edge popping back into the Rumble and getting back into the mix ahead of WrestleMania, and doing so with a fiery promo. So we come to our main event of the evening. It is Asuka defending the Raw Women's Championship against Alexa Bliss. So this starts off like a bit of a copy and paste from last week, with Asuka getting the early lead, Bliss smiling through the pain. At one point, Asuka gets sent flying out of the ring when she attempts a move into the corner. And then we cut back to the ring where Alexa Bliss is suddenly on a horse, on a rocking horse with organ music playing. Then that's how we go to break. I like how they try to find new ways to go to the break every time. This was possibly one of my favourites. I think every match should go to break with a rocking horse involved. When we come back, no mention of the rocking horse or anything like that, and Alexa is in control. Asuka starts to mount a comeback at one point, following a beauty of a kick to the head of Alexa. Throws Alexa into the corner. Looks like she's going to charge at the corner, but as she steps back to get ready to charge, Alexa Bliss's old music hits. We cut to the corner, and suddenly there's Alexa Bliss cowering in fear, dressed in her old Alexa Bliss goddess attire. And she just looks like she doesn't know where she is. Asuka takes a second to sort of drink all this in, then goes to attack her anyway. Bliss moves out of the way, sort of goes all like cold stoic-faced, goes into the other corner where the lights go out, the nursery music starts playing, and when we come back, Alexa Bliss is in dark attire doing the spider pose across the ropes. She then becomes invincible. Asuka trying to hit her with everything, but Alexa countering every single move. Asuka goes for the Asuka lock, but Bliss turns it into a mandible claw, and this looks like it's curtains for Asuka. But then here comes Randy Orton, not with his mask on either. So you've got all this angry, peely, red face. It's like he's been to Benidorm for a week. Staring down Alexa Bliss and hits her with an RKO. And Raw goes off the air with Orton standing over the RKO'd body of Alexa Bliss. And that is the last shot we see of Monday Night Raw after that match. You know what? I'm giving this an A-. I thought this was improved upon their last match. I like the weird and wonderfulness of this. I like how WWE are able to use the Thunderdome and the ability to produce better to their advantage. It's why you've got some of these more wackier things happening, because you haven't got to worry about a live crowd sort of ruining the illusion, which I quite like. I thought it was a really intriguing match. As a wrestling match, there wasn't much to it. If you're a wrestling purist, you're going to hate the fact that I gave this an A-. But I was highly entertained by it. Really was. The minus part comes from, again, my argument is that this shouldn't be Asuka. This shouldn't be the top of the tree in the women's division, kind of playing scared to Alexa Bliss, which she did a couple of times throughout this match as well. I kind of felt like it could have been somebody else doing this, maybe, and it still would have been just as intriguing. But I thought the match was still very good. I was very, very entertained by it. It's getting an A- from me. And overall this week, I am giving Monday Night Raw a B-. We are stepping in the right direction with Raw this week. After a couple of really turgid weeks of Monday Night Wrestling programming, there was lots to like in here. I thought the Gauntlet was very good. AJ Styles has been doing some great stuff. Edge's promo, chef's kisses, all over. And it was a really fun, engaging main event. So good stuff. Good stuff from all involved. Here's to the Royal Rumble on Sunday. They're doing the Royal Rumble on my birthday, which is very kind of WWE to do that. And I hope you will join us for it. Of course, there'll be predictions, reactions, and what happened at, and all of that jazz all across the weekend. But that's later in the week. Have yourselves a great week. Don't rush through this week. Enjoy it while you can, and have a lovely time. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.